Let's have a bit of fun till our downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back here. The CGL Season 15 playoffs continue here tonight into the wee hours of the night. In fact, it's going to take place in the NA Masters tier, our round 3 matchup. Shoebill Nation, Celestial Knights. Naya, you ready to get it rolling?
Oh, I am so ready here, Fletch. We got two great teams here for our lower semifinals. And hey, whoever gets eliminated here is out of this playoff run for the North American Masters scene. So it should be action packed here. But we also had a couple other matches that were having been played throughout tonight here. And just look at these score lines from these games. We have EMC Kanidos taking it 4-1 against Blizz Excelsior, but as well, like YE Snowfall and Amplify. I gotta say, that right there is kind of like an upset. I do think Amplify was kind of meant to win that one, but YE Snowfall really packing a punch to Amplify. But the series still going on at the moment, which I do believe is Cuddle Puddle and Death Blossom. They are currently 2-2, and those two teams have been pretty legendary throughout.
Yep. Been, two of the best teams in that tier for sure. NA Diamond is pretty consolidated toward the top with a top 4. So, no surprise to me that game is as close as it is. But our game tonight, Shoebill Nation, Celestial Knights, we're going to look forward even further than tonight. However, in a couple of weeks, we are headed to South America for the Copa America, bringing South American Overwatch to the world. May 16th, broadcast in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. Going to be so much fun getting to shine a light on this, not as often seen region.
Yeah, so true. This is going to be very exciting for even the CGL community itself and the fans of these national organizations for their countries. But I will say they are pretty stacked with players overall here, Fletch. Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and Peru, really great rosters alone. They have the players to do. And Copa America, it's going to be happening here up in CGL, so very looking forward to that. But yeah, Fletch, we have two teams here, and one of them will be moving on, but Shoebill Nation, they've had a pretty long, good run throughout the season, but as well, Celestial Knights trying to put it up too. But let's take a look at this, right? So we're looking at the bracket, and we have Celestial Knights in that first round of playoffs. They're taking on Shoebill Nation, and they 3-1 them. So this is kind of a repeat of that first round, and maybe it could be the same series scoreline, or Shoebill Nation could shoot their way back and make it to that losers round 4.
And you know what? To be honest with you, the fact that both of these teams are top 4, it makes sense for Celestial Knights. They were already the number 4 seed, so mathematically, technically, they're where they should be. But Shoebill Nation kind of fighting up. Both of these teams finished the regular season at 4-4, so very middle of the pack. But I want to look toward that upper bracket. Not quite the Celestial Knights Shoebill game, but the one that came after that, the Sword of Skilled versus Celestial Knights. They finished the regular season 4-4, but they took Sword of Skilled to a 5th map when Sword of Skilled went 9-0 in the regular season. That includes a mid-season tournament win. They only lost 2 maps through the entire regular season.
Exactly.
So you look at Sword of Skilled and how good that they are. Celestial Knights took it to them. So, that has got to, maybe Shoebill looks at the past bracket. Maybe they don't. It's kind of a crapshoot when you're talking about, these lower tiers, and especially potentially console teams and teams that aren't taking things as seriously. They might just look at who they're playing and say, okay, we're going to play them. But it's something that has to be considered, because Celestial Knights, they seem to have woken up here in the playoffs.
Yeah, Celestial Knights, if they do make it to that grand final, it should be peak Overwatch alone. Also pretty cinematic, right? That Celestial Knights team took it basically all the way, like how you said, Fletch. They took it to that map 5 scenario, but the opposing side did win and force them into that losers bracket scenario. So here we go. Celestial Knights, this is a chance where you can get back up into the phase of things to aggress yourself even much more further, but we still have a wonderful map here to start us off. And this map 1 will be Lijiang Tower in between these two teams. And we also have these hero bands coming right up.
I got nothing to say about Lijiang Tower that hasn't been said a billion trillion times before by a million casters and a quadrillion fans. It's Lijiang Tower. You're gonna see Rush. More than likely, there are some cheeky pocket picks that you could be playing. I think the most common ban that makes the most sense for me on Lijiang Tower is probably going to be the Pharah. Pharah is very, very effective at spamming on 2 of the 3 maps, and she has become a prevalent pick. But we're going to see the Mei ban coming out here, and Mei's not bad. She's very effective at controlling territory, right? She denies angles and denies escape. So we haven't seen a whole lot of Mei be played, so it could be a protection ban on one of the characters that Celestial Knights do want to play. But we will just have to wait and see, as now Shoebill Nation are on the clock to pick either a tank or support.
Yeah, talking about Shoebill Nation, I do expect them to force something against this opposing side. Maybe it could be that tank role
and
Wrecking Ball. Okay, all right. So Wrecking Ball is gonna be there for the ban. Words from Prod breaking it there, but
Vippy took a hammer to the whole thing. Okay, it's still Wrecking Ball, but okay, cool.
Yeah, very, very cool.
The bans here seem kind of like shoulder shrug to me.
Yeah.
Mei, I think, is a better ban. Wrecking Ball is kind of usable on like Night Market. Like, he's all right on Night Market when you're trying to find the roll throughs. These bans are kind of whatever, in my opinion, unless they are target bans. Unfortunately, I am. Unfortunately, not informed enough on these teams to make that determination. But in my opinion, we're seeing a couple of bans out here early to probably just get a feeler, right? Because these teams have played so recently, like within the last 2 weeks. So
yeah,
there could be something there as we get a look at the lineups.
As you said, these two teams have been playing with each other throughout the whole entire season alone, but as well, they faced each other up in the playoffs round 1. But taking a look at Shoebill Nation, our first lineup here tonight, Lovesane will be the DPS. Shadowwee as well will be joining Lovesane with that DPS role. But as well, you have Simple Math on the tank. Do expect some havoc from Simple. But as well, the support line, Daydream and Aubrey, that's about to be cooking for Shoebill.
Shoebill looking to get their revenge for that upper bracket round 1, trying to send Celestial Knights packing. And speaking of the Celestial Knights, get our lineup: Moonlights, Anax on that damage roll, Bananas on the tank, Big Brain, and Hope in the backline. This team trying to prove who they are and what they have the potential to be.
Yeah, and this match by far should be a really, really close one. Shoebill Nation wants to make a statement against the Celestial Knights team, but as well, Celestial Knights has had a really good one against Shoebill Nation. Stuff is going to be really, really interesting throughout this series, but as well, going into these much more further maps after this, it's going to be really, really exciting. But here we go. Shoebill Nation and Celestial Knights will be coming up real shortly. I believe all players are up in the lobby. But Fletch, talking about both of the teams here, we're seeing them play again. They played up on the round 1 of the playoffs. Do you expect this to go a long ways, or do do you kind of still expect Celestial Knights to roll with this one and try and make a statement against the grand finalist?
I would be lying if I said I didn't have Celestial Knights taking this right now.
Yeah.
I think that their peaks are a little bit higher than Shoebill at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
With how hard that they took, the definitive best team in this tier. They're already in the grand finals with, sort of skilled already, top 2 in this tournament. So I would be remiss to say that Celestial Knights isn't my favorite here. Having said that, I do think that numbers show that this can be a very close, very competitive match. Only 4-4 between both of them. So, very, very similar season records for these two teams. Map diff is what put Celestial Knights on top of the seeding for them as the number 4 seed. So, as we head in here, I do think that, I'm leaning towards Celestial Knights, but I expect Shoebill, they're not going to not put up a fight.
Yeah, exactly.
I would be insane to say that.
Yeah, and I do expect this, Shoebill Nation side to definitely pack a punch, depending upon what they would like to run against Celestial Knights. But take a look at these compositions here, Fletch. We have Simple Math running this Ramatra type variant. You also have Daydream and Aubrey running this Juno Brig. That's a pretty nice backline for supports overall. But Celestial Knights, they'll be running with the Ramatra with a Kiri Lucio. So a tad bit difference there, but Shoebill Nation will be getting to this objective a lot more quicker, especially with Shadowy now switching over to that Junkrat.
Well, now, I mean, both teams taking advantage of that Symmetra teleporter. Celestial Knights rotating toward the point. Shoebill Nation on top in the server room. Moonlights on the far back side trying to find a pot shot. Wraithform forced out of Anax. Now putting some damage in, but taken down by Shadowy. Moonlight still building up these railguns, trying to find a shot, but nothing is coming for free. And Moonlights will be the last one on the objective, and it'll be a quick cap for Shoebill.
Yeah, Shoebill Nation making it look pretty good with Simple Math there, coordinating as well as they are. But take a look at this. Like, the ultimate economy is already built halfway for Shoebill Nation with their DPS. I do expect Shadowy to definitely charge up this ult here very, very soon.
Well, Simple Math, getting brutally low there, able to back around the corner, survive for the moment, getting the healing from Daydream and Aubrey as Moonlight continues to build up these railguns, but Simple Math weathers the storm and takes the first kill. Now getting aggro here late in this fight, and that, oh my god, what a ravenous vortex there from Simple Math for the team kill.
Yeah, once again, Shoebill Nation with Simple Math reading that opposition of Celestial Knights. Now we're coming up into this scenario where Shoebill Nation will have these ultimates going forward. 3 up online, 4th coming almost up onto line here with Daydreams. But Celestial Knights, you have this Kitsune Rush. Oh, wait, hold on.
No!
Oh!
No! This isn't Valorant! You don't have to clear your corners, and that's exactly what Shadowy was expecting!
Oh my gosh. So let's just take a look at this replay once again. Like, they were not expecting that at all. Shadowy, as I said, they were charging up that ultimate really, really quickly there, but very, very well done pace from Shoebill Nation. Still a lot of ultimates up in this economy.
Back to Riptire!
Oh my gosh.
Kitsune Rush down from Big Brain, but the Orbital Ray from Daydream is going to be brutal to counter with. The Deadeye cancels the Death Blossom, and Shoebill Nation are rolling through this map.
Is it just me, or am I seeing like a T-posing Ramatra right now up on my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Shoebill Nation, Simple Math, ready to go with this ultimate. Same with Aubrey. Aubrey can do some damage into the Celestial Knights.
We'll rally in from Aubrey, going to try and defy this Ramatra Annihilation down, and I mean, they'd be lucky to be able to get rid of Simple Math here in the spawn, and Shadowy not even worried a little bit about a Tracer. 100% to 0 for Shoebill Nation on Control Center. Flashy, too.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Fletch, did we expect Shoebill Nation to come out this strong? Like, this was peak. Charging up the Riptire 24/7, but as well, like, you got to see Shadowy there and you called it. The Riptire was built halfway. Like, that's insane. How does someone do that? Who knows? Ask Shadowy from Shoebill Nation. But, yeah, looking at the stat line overall, Lovesane has been definitely putting up in the work, Shadowy as well. The damage numbers have there for both of the sides, but more leaning towards Shoebill Nation just because of their performance. Teams along these two trying to rotate with simple math now up onto a Winston. Kyrie Lucio backlines for both.
More than likely, yeah. No more Junkrat as we head over to a dive for Shoebill Nation. See Aubrey trying to take care. Takes a shot there from Moonlight. He cannot go down there. Yeah, NX has to use the recall lest they go off the side of the map. Now on top of the Tracer again, NX blinks away. Very, very low at the moment, trying to get that passive healing. Finally does get a little bit of assistance. Shadowy, this time the first one to fall, and Shoebill Nation will be warded off for the moment.
So here we go, Celestial Knights. Now you're finding some answers up into Shoebill Nation here for your first map entry. The Shoebill Nation, though, still running a pretty good solid composition, especially with Lovesane getting that elimination.
Yeah, decapitated. Anax is out of the fight, and Moonlight's, I think, slid into the pillar there, and I mean, simple math with the help of their DPS, finding so much value here in this fight.
Yeah, Aubrey cooking up on the Lucio by far for the side of Shoebill Nation, but now they're taking in with this percentage. You look at Shoebill Nation's economy, Daydream will have this, and he will also get the pick. Wow, this is very good.
Daydream is just spamming some kind of Hanzo angle where they can't see them, but he can sure as hell see them. Just continuing to spam here, not trying to let them get through this doorway. Shadowy has to use the triple blink to get away, so try to be cheeky there, but they learn to check their angles. Kitsune rush down, and a lot of damage out from Simple Math, but a lot of damage into Simple Math as well. The Kitsune rush comes down, cleanse out to deny the pulse bomb. Moonlights and Lovesane trading out. Pulse bomb ready to go for Shadowy, looking for it. Not gonna even need it here as the juggle continues. Trades continue. Daydream with another headshot kill. Simple Math on the objective now, fighting out on to Bananas, who will just jump into the koi pond, and Shoebill Nation will retain.
Yeah, still definitely running with this one if you are Shoebill Nation. Lovesane, Shadowy with their ultimates. I do expect these to be pumped here a lot more into this next phase of fights, because Shoebill Nation with this aggression onto Celestial Knights, you guys have been cooking. Bananas, though, can do some damage with that ult coming back. I do expect Hope to also get up into the scene there with that beat matrix.
Oh, Pulse Bomb not quite landing on it to a stick there. Sound Barrier down, but Bananas doesn't get the Sound Barrier. Sound Barrier down from Aubrey now as Bananas tries to hold up those arms to stay alive as best as possible. Moonlights with their own overclock, not quite finding a target there. Bananas does go down, but no Bananas, no problem here for Celestial Nation. Said no monkey ever, but Celestial Knights will be able to take this objective once more.
Yeah, not over yet here. Celestial Knights still fighting up on this secondary. Anax ready to go with the pulse bomb. This could be huge depending upon who it lands up on. Big Brain, though, will have this good sooner rush, but look at that forward engage pick.
They don't even need to invest anything here. I mean, the Kitsune rush as Simple Math goes down is absolutely catastrophic for Shoebill Nation. And now, I mean, Celestial Knight's going to go in with the Kitsune rush of their own. Maybe a little bit too early there, unfortunately, as Shoebill Nation will recoup here.
Yeah, now you have Shoebill Nation coming back here with Simple Math's Primal Rage. Same with Shadowy's Pulse Bomb. Stuff can get a bit dangerous for the Celestial Knight side.
Oh, disgusting!
It just happened.
By Anax. Oh my god, it does end up going down, and this Primal Rage I mean, it could have been good if they'd been able to find... Okay, there you go. The one pick is going to be all that Simple Math will get away with. But only 200 HP now for Simple Math. Needs the healing 90% for Celestial Knights as Simple Math does enter the fray onto the objective. No flip will come through as Shadowy is the first casualty in this, the final fight of this sub-map. Enax dead once more as Moonlights tries to find something else. Overclocked down from the opposite side. Moonlights building up to one of their own here very, very soon. Lovesane sliding right into the face of a Ramatra who now has Annihilation and more of a celebration than anything as Celestial Knights will rock through the garden. We're headed to the night market.
Yeah, night market will be the third here in between these two teams. And taking a look at this replay once again, we got to see a lot of aggression from both sides here, Fletch. Shoebill Nation found some great scenario picks, but as well, yeah, like Celestial Knights, they shot their way back up into this, and with that, you know, mentality now, they are pretty set heading up into this third. If they still bring the action up on what they played here against Shoebill Nation with that secondary heading up into the third, I do expect Celestial Knights to take this first map, but compositions looking likewise here from both. Still running the Ramatra, and yeah, they're going to be running to the point with the TPs.
Some backline differences here, as well as the Pharah in from Shadowy going to be up to Moonlight, and Moonlight's only to deal with that. And speaking of Moonlights, finds the opening pick on to Daydream. Excellent shot there onto the Juno. Basically going to ward off anything that Shoebill could do here.
Yeah, exactly. Taking out the Juno is a great play here for the side of Celestial Knights, and now you do get to see them trying to take that objective. One up on point currently, but Celestial Knights, I like how they're positioning this. You have Anax up on the side, which could take angles against a Shoebill Nation, but as well, if you Shoebill, you gotta kind of be careful, and as well, protect the Brig.
Anax having to grab that health pack, still has the recall in here, so gonna force actually the Brig to bash backward. Not exactly where you would like them to be, as Simple Math goes in with the Nemesis form. Punch block here for Simple Math. Celestial Knights, though, they're still in control of the point, so they're not really all that scared of how Shoebill are fighting this. You can see Moonlight's paranoid, looking up into the sky. Bananas losing out on that Nemesis form, as Celestial Knights as a whole will lose out on Hope. This Nemesis form goes away for Simple Math, but the damage is done here for Shoebill Nation. They're going to take over.
Yeah, Shoebill Nation ready to go with their Annihilation on the side of Simple Math. Aubrey, though, trying to build up that rally ultimates. But as well, if Shadowy can charge up this barrage, stuff can be pretty good for the Shoebill Nation. Up on the other side, the pulse is out, doesn't hit.
Yep, not going to connect here as the Kitsune Rush comes down from Big Brain. Trades here of supports from either Ramatra. One of those Ramatras, I guess both of those Ramatras have Annihilation here, and now it's just a punch block fiesta for both of them. Simple Math shoved into a corner, but Shadowy comes in with the assist, keeping their tank in the fight. Does end up going down. This Tracer, and now Moonlights as well. We're going to hear the rally from Aubrey. Why?
Yeah, pretty unique, interesting choice here from Shoebill Nation. They do pop this rally, but hey, Daydream will be coming back with this Orbital Ray. I know that it's at 79, but Juno can definitely charge up that ultimate pretty quickly for the side of Shoebill Nation. It just really depends upon how they position this. Still, Barrage is up online, but as well, Lovesane could do some damage with that ult as well.
Here is the Moonlight overclock. Looking for the Ramatra, who is able to get around the corner. Play around that statue, stay away from all the damage, and no casualties will be felt. Whoa.
There you go.
Oh no, that's awful. Yeah, Lovesane goes down, and with it, the hopes of Shoebill Nation here early in this fight as Moonlight takes care of Shadowy.
So looking at it, Fletch, you take a look at Celestial Knights. The only ultimate that they have currently is that Pulse, but Shoebill Nation trying to re-coordinate this.
What a stick! NX does go down in trade, but that is a significant amount of damage gone here to Bill Nation.
Shadowy?
Rocket Barrage in. Shadowy finds one with it indeed. slide out from Moonlights. He's going to join the fray again here very, very soon, but it will not matter as the flip will belong to Shoebill Nation.
So here we go. It's not over yet here, Fletch. Shoebill Nation almost ready to go with this Annihilation from Simple Math. Could do some damage, right? Especially if they catch him up in the slow here of the Ramatra. But Celestial Knights, they're also trying to come back with this Annihil. Big Brain could do some pretty great engage pressure with that Kitsune Rush, but let's see what happens.
Hope instantly going down. Great spam there from Simple Math. Spamming out the people that are left in Anox. Not even a chance to recall there. And now it will be the cross 80% here for Shoebill.
Yeah, Celestial Knights, you need to get back up into this scenario fight. You have Kitsune Rush. You also have Banana's ultimate coming back. So Kitsune will be popped.
There is that Kitsune Rush from Big Brain. Annihilation still in the hands of Simple Math. The one will come down from Banana, but Banana has no support right now. Has to back out around the corner. Goes down. The Annihilation from Simple Math. The disruption from Simple Math kept the backline off of the tank. And now Shoebill Nation come out with a map 1 victory on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, and this is a very, very great win here for the side and organization of Shoebill Nation against a team that was really looking very, very strong into their favor, but very, very well done. Definitely applied that forward aggression phase, and just this ult overall was so peak for that, map 1 of that Lijiang. But yeah, very, very good stuff from this team overall.
I mean, yeah, that last fight, to be honest with you, if Hope and Big Brain are with Bananas, there's a very good chance that Celestial Knights does end up taking care of Night Market. But Simple Math, even alone there, is such a threat that Big Brain and Hope just had to believe in themselves to take care of the Ramatra because everybody else had to go to the point. It was 99%. But overall, right, this was a map in perseverance from Shoebill Nation. Obviously, they got some cheeky stuff done on the Junkrat, unfortunately. That's really not going to work super well on anywhere but Lijiang Control Center. But having said that, right, they proved that they can really, really take it to this Celestial Knights roster on this mirror. Obviously, they're differing a little bit in the backline. Brig Juno for Shoebill as opposed to the Kiri Lucio from the side of Celestial Knights. But in this Ramatra Ball comp, like I said that we were going to see on, Lijiang Tower, Shoebill Nation came out and proved that they are, a team that's not to be disregarded on this comp.
Yeah, and I will say it again, Shoebill Nation and Celestial Knights did take on each other in that first round of playoffs here up in the North American Masters division, but as well, seeing these two teams play, right? Celestial Knights knows Shoebill Nation, but they were very, very surprised on what Shoebill Nation did there from that entry phase of the tower, right? Like we had Tyre that was very, very surprising against Celestial Knights. They didn't even expect anything there heading around that corner. But hey, Celestial Knights, you still got a great chance up into this one. And we will also be heading to that map 2 very, very shortly, which will be Suravasa. So very, very great map choice.
Yeah. The pocket picks could continue here. I think if you want to change this up for Celestial Knights and go over to like a Junker Queen, I think that's very possible. I still think Ramatra is probably the way to go if you're going to continue running these rush compositions. My question is, what gets banned? I don't think it's Junkrat because, as well as the Junkrat worked out, Junkrat's only... I don't even want to say good. He's only usable on Control Center. And I think the reality is that Shadowy got that much value because nobody prepares for a Junkrat. So I don't think the Junkrat is the way to go. But we're going to see a Cassidy ban which is
Interesting.
also kind of a nothing burger, if I'm being honest with you.
Maybe they're trying to force a sojourn here, if I were to say anything, if you are Celestial Knights. But here we go. Shoebill Nation, you will be taking on your ban. You have the choice of tank or supports. If you are Shoebill Nation, you do take that first map. Maybe you could put some more pressure up on the support backline, right? Take out the communication, and yeah, they will. That's
Yeah.
a pretty good ban overall.
Yeah, I think that it's worth saying with this Kiri ban, which is the first actual ban that we've seen. It was something that I kind of wanted to say, but I felt like I was rambling a little bit before. With the differences in the backline that I mentioned earlier, right? It's Brig Juno versus Kiri Lucio. It is going to be very easy for these teams to play around their strengths, right? When it comes to banning supports. So you can catastrophically change what the opponent's comp wants to be as Lilac comes into the lineup here. You can forcibly change the composition of your opponent by banning one of their preferred supports. Obviously, you can only do that on 2 maps here, at the very least with the support. But the Kiriko ban here, not even surprising a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Lucio ban at some point in the future.
Yeah, we definitely did get to see the Lucio get played, but here we go. Shoebill Nation, they will be running that backline of Juno Brig. That's also a couple bans that could also happen up in the next couple maps where they do force maybe a Juno ban or that the Brig ban coming out. But Shoebill Nation looking good with this starting entry composition, but as well, Celestial Knights, they're going to be running in with that rush type. So Bananas is going to try and do something for the Celestial Knights.
All right. I mentioned the Junker Queen. We see the Junker Queen. I did not expect the Mauga, but here we are. Shadowy on the Torbjorn is very interesting as the knife comes out, lands on to Daydream. Bananas trying to put in some damage as Anax jumps up, dashes out with that drill. Just trying to put some spam damage into Simple Math, who is doing the same from the other side. Stomp going to come through from Simple Math. Has to use the reload here. But Anax and Bananas go in onto the backline. Bananas does end up falling here, but that is just fine because basically everybody else is dead. And now literally everybody else is dead but Simple Math.
Yeah, overall, looking at these compositions from both of the sides, Celestial Knights has more of a favorable comp. They can get up into these scenario fights where Shoebill Nation can get kind of caught up in the scenario of rotating back, but they do need to be definitely careful, right? You can't be using your abilities too much when you're working with a Malga type composition. You got to be really, really smart getting up in the Celestial Knights, but Ultimate Economy, pretty solid still. Simple Math, almost to that cage. That could get pretty dangerous, not gonna lie.
I mean, they see the Bananas is cut off in the backline, but Simple Math cannot seem to, find which way to look. Now looking back towards Bananas, but, I mean, even though Simple Math is going to use the cage fight here, is actually going to be able to claim the lives of 2 players, 2 seconds until that cardiac overdrive comes through, and I was questioning it, but Simple Math kills 4.
Okay, Simple Math, you're doing something at the moment. Shoebill Nation, though, you take a look at this. They now have this percentage running. Shadowy will be able to place this Torp turret, which, to say about the Torp turret, that's going to be a huge distraction for Celestial Knights to focus, right? You don't want to be getting shot down by that turret 24/7. So that's going to be something that you will definitely need to take out. But Anax, though.
Tectonic Shock in, and Aubrey is dead here very, very early in this fight. The Coalescence and the Tectonic Shock from the side of Celestial Knights, providing too much sustain, too much damage. The overclock is invested by Love, saying you would love to have that one back.
Yeah, Shoebill Nation, it's alright. If you do lose this first initial, you still gotta remember, right? Celestial Knights do have these ultimates. Shoebill Nation, though, they come back up into this one, and they will.
Well, here is the rampage in from Bananas, denying the healing, and somebody was shooting at Lilac, who in turn shot at Aubrey, and Lilac very, very low, 4 HP, not a lot, but enough to get the job done. Celestial Knights will take market here on Suravasa. Now we head down to the Garden.
Yeah, at the same time, I do like the decision from Celestial Knights bringing in Lilac, a new fresh pair of legs to play the Celestial Knights squad up on the secondary map here of the series. But as well, they do need a map to equalize that series score. So maybe Lilac is that answer, right? Lilac does have the blade ready to go, and that could definitely be something that we could be seeing here very, very shortly against an Orbital Ray.
Here is the Orbital Ray Dragon Blade invested, and I mean, Lilac is just just swatted like a fly. Orbital Ray is down, but it's 2 for 2 as Simple Math has no bubbles. Tectonic Shock down now, bubbles out onto Simple Math themselves. Does take care of Hope, but these bubbles going to be coming back through far too slowly, as Celestial Knights will be able to get that objective through.
Yeah, exactly. Celestial Knights now getting this one. They're running with a percentage currently. Celestial Knights, though, big brain, will have this coalescence almost to build up. Currently at 90%. But Shoebill Nation, you're trying to charge up the Graviton Surge, even Aubrey's ultimate of that rally. But let's see what Celestial Knights do. Anax, though.
I mean,
that's crazy.
Just kind of sat there and let that happen. And now they're very, very low on the side of the brig. Anax does end up falling. Bananas, though, building up very, very close to this Rampage. Graviton Surge ready to go for Simple Math as they bail back to the point.
Yeah, let's see what Shoebill Nation does. Will they pop this ultimate, or will they hold this? No. They seem to be capping this one. Okay, pretty interesting choice.
Okay, a little bit of a turn there onto the brig from Bananas. Need to focus on not shooting these bubbles that are more often than not going onto that Reaper. Graviton Surge is down. Hope needs to get that sound barrier off. It was at 99%, Naya. Anax goes down.
Oh
a nice boot from Hope, but it's just not enough.
I swore that Hope was going to get a lot more there, but they did at least get something. Daydream, though,
Wait a minute.
Find.
Wait.
It's not over. Shoebill Nation.
That is.
But, yeah, Fletch, Shadowy, they still have their ultimate of that Blossom, but as well, Aubrey can definitely get back up into the scene here against Celestial Knights, which, if Bananas wants to engage play in this, all Aubrey needs to do is sustain with the rally, so stuff's definitely going to be played here for both of the sides.
Need to avoid the bubbles as well. The Death Blossom is down. Rampage is out, getting some of that healing, but just not enough of it. As Bananas goes down, the rally is out. Wraith form out from this Reaper. Tectonic Shock ready to go as well. There it is. Finding some damage. Hopping back out. Dropping back down. Finding the brig. And with that death there by Aubrey. And Anax going absolutely ballistic on the Venture. Celestial Knights will take back over. Not done just yet here on the Garden.
So now I wonder, if you're Shoebill Nation, will you try and re-engage plan with a ultimate here, or will you fight this dry and force an ult? I mean, honestly, they take out Big Brain here? I don't think they do need to force an ultimate.
Hey, who touched? I mean, okay, there's the Dragon Blade from Lilac, as Love Saying will fall to that ultimate, not nearly close enough to the Orbital Ray. Lilac goes in once more. Whew, 3-piece for Lilac, and map point here for Celestial Knights.
So here we go. If you are Celestial Knights, as you said, map points, it's currently 0-2 up in that scoreline here up in Suravasa. They're moving on to this next phase for that objective. But Celestial Knights, you really don't have much for your ultimate economy at the moment, though. Big Brain almost close to that coalescence. Same with the support line of Hope. Shoebill Nation, though, can get up into this one. Simple Math, all they need to do is charge up that Graviton Surge.
Here we go, Big Brain able to live, slides away. Anax not so lucky here. Bananas getting the healing, but running away from the supports as Love Saying finds a second, cuts down Shadowy. Very, very good attempt, at the very least, as the grab did come through from Simple Math. So Shoebill Nation will take this first flip here on Palace.
Yeah, pretty unique choice here from Shoebill Nation. Did they need to use that Zarya Graviton Surge? I'd probably say no, right? You did already have the favors of Lovesane getting the eliminations, but, you know, if you could have saved that, you could have been heading up into the favor of 2 support ultimates, which taking those out would have been huge with the Graviton, but it's not up
Here is
online anymore. Let's see what
Anax,
Celestial Knights does.
Gonna win a fight outright onto Lovesane, 1 versus 1, big brain popping the coalescence on the objective. Celestial Knights get the flip in the middle of it all as well, so now this is just stagger them out, and excellent job here from Celestial Knights.
Yeah, so here we go. Celestial Knights taking this one back for themselves. They use that Coalescence to re-engage with, but Bananas, Line Locked, Anax, and Hope will have these ultimates for Celestial Knights. I do expect those ults to be popped, maybe 2, but as well, Shoebill Nation, you have Shadowy, which could do some damage with the Blossom.
Yep, we expect, yeah. Lovesane does get the one with the rail shot there, the or rather the Rampage, not Overclock. Will help to take down Lovesane, but that is the only casualty that Shoebill Nation will feel, as the Celestial Knights will lose out here now. 50% for Shoebill.
Overall, though, for Shoebill, that was a great way to force the Celestial Knights ultimate of the JQ. Now Bananas doesn't have it, but 3 ults still coming back here for the Celestial Knights. We know what Line Locked can do, same with Anax. It just really depends upon how Celestial Knights wants to position this, because they can take the Servasa. But Shoebill Nation, you're pretty set here. You can do something here against Celestial.
Tectonic Shock is down, and it's going to land on the Lovesane, who, unfortunately, hit the ground right in the path of that ultimate. Wraith Form out. I mean, Dragon Blade ready to go. Will not even need it, as there might be another chance here for Shoebill to get a touch. It'll be desperate, though.
Yeah, as I said, you know, Shoebill Nation will definitely have this way to get back up into this one. Daydream, all they need to do is pop that speed ring, and we do get to see that.
Oh my god, what a boop. What a boop. What a boop. That was crazy. Hope. Lovesane would have gotten there, but the boop. Yeah, I mean, beautiful, beautiful plays all around. I mean, Lilac came into this lobby and absolutely took over on the Genji as well.
Yeah.
Celestial Knights just, frankly, they kind of dominated through most of this map. I mean, it was a close 3-0, admittedly, but
yeah,
this is the response you needed from Celestial Knights, because the first map was pretty close, right? You lost pretty hard on that first sub-map, but the other 2 were, you know, not very close at all. So, or very, very close indeed. So, for Celestial Knights coming in here, proving that you can get the better of this team, that's exactly the response you needed.
Yeah, overall, Celestial Knights looking very, very good here up on the Servasa. Now they do equalize that series score here, Fletch. And with moving on forward, do they keep Lilocked in? Lilocked was doing some damage against Shoebill Nation there, but they needed to find a tad bit more. We did get to see Lilocked in a scenario phase where they would go up in with a blade, but they would get shut down, so hopefully that doesn't happen more. But I really do hope Celestial Knights pick the right favors heading up into Shoebill Nation, because, hey, Shoebill Nation, what kind of an upset map 1?
I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting thing coming up here. I have no idea where we might go in terms of map or hero bans. I think that both of these teams are, like, insanely neck and neck in their skill. At least from what we've seen thus far. So as we head into the break, you know, that's not a question for us to answer. It's going to be up to Celestial Knights and Shoebill Nation. 5 minutes. We will be right back with this series as we head to map number 3. All right, welcome back, everybody. Right now, parity has been found in this series after 2 maps. Shoebill, 1 Celestial Knights, 1. Shoebill lost out on map number 2, so it is going to be their map selection and their first ban. We do know where we are headed for map number 3. It's going to be, it really isn't surprising when you see what they played on the second map of Lijiang Tower. We are going to Watch Point Gibraltar.
Okay, pretty nice map over. We will be able to get to see probably a lot more dive here happen from both of the sides, but as well, maybe an interesting comp come out from 1 or 2. But overall, this is Watch Point Gibraltar here, Fletch. I really don't see anything else except for dive getting played here.
Yeah. And I mean, Shoebill did lose the one time they played dive on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah.
Having said that, not a particularly strong dive map. So I mean, I think they just got outclassed by a better composition on Garden. That's not to say that dive isn't fine on Garden. It is, but Ramatra's just verifiably better there. Where Ramatra is not verifiably better is Lijiang Tower. So I am curious what is going to happen here. To be honest with you, if I have to guess, Shoebill Nation going to ban a tank so that they can play the Winston. It's going to be the D.Va coming in here. They obviously want to force the dive Winston mirror here into Celestial Knights. So protecting the Winston is the right play here. So no matter what, they're going to get to play our funny monkey friend.
Yeah, I definitely like this choice, bringing out the Winston, trying to force this here now. But Celestial Knights, right? You take the ban. Oh, wait, hold on. Someone's not going to like this ban at all. Taking out the Widowmaker? Oh, wait.
I mean, yeah, Widowmaker's strong on the especially the first part of the map, right? Objective A, very, very long sight lines for Widowmaker to work with. Makes sense. I don't think it provides a broken amount of value, this ban. But yeah, I guess if you can shut down the opposing hit scan, then the Widowmaker, the ban can find some value. You don't like when Widowmaker gets rid of you in one click. I get it. The ban makes sense. And now we get ready to head into Lijiang Tower. Moonlight's back in here for Celestial Knights.
Yep, and yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting, right? So, Watch Point, here we are. Big old rocket ship, as we are seeing right now. But, yeah, taking out the Widowmaker, maybe we'll be able to see a Ashe come out for maybe an entry phase pick, throw up in a dynamite, coordinate a dive off of it, or you could see both of the two teams. Oh, wait, I kind of called this. Okay, so Love Saying will be playing the Ashe? Okay. Great stuff, Shoebill Nation. Celestial Knights, though, on the other hand, you have Anax, which will be running this TP strategy. I do like this. This is going to hyper-aggress their team into Shoebill Nation. So, if you're Celestial Knights, I would probably say they're going to get a couple picks with this, right? It could definitely throw off Shoebill Nation depending upon where they position the TP, but as well, you have Big Brain playing this Ana, same as well as Daydream. Both of the two support lines will be doing something for these tank players.
All right. Celestial Knights opting not going to play the Wrecking Ball. Don't hate that. Yep. I don't like Wrecking Ball all that much right now. I don't think he's very good. Bananas going over to the other high ground. NX going to switch over to the Tracer. Not much happening just yet. As Shadowy really, really likes corners here. Oh my god! Ooh. What an anti! Just absolutely going yard with that nade. Did Daydream, and beautiful follow-up by Simple Math and Shadowy.
Yeah, very, very great coordination here from Shoebill Nation. Now, if you're Celestial Knights, you need the kind of reset here. You do take this upper angle. Maybe Bananas is going to try and pressure Daydream a lot more here to force out some abilities.
Come back in here. Just kind of a waiting game right now. Moonlights takes a shot. Gonna back down from that. You don't win that when you're... I mean, if you were closer, you could probably get that focusing beam, but yeah, as I was saying, you don't really win that long range. Shadowy forced to use a recall. Simple Math has to drop back down to the ground. This fight still not even really started yet.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty interesting up on how these two teams are playing, right? They're trying to look for that entry at that dive with this composition that they're running. And you take a look there, Bananas is kind of getting low, but does get back up. With the support line that they're running, it's pretty solid, right? So all it takes is one support to die.
Oh my god,
yes.
What an ante! Another fight won simply at the press of the E button. Beautiful there. They do take down Annex, but it's going to be kind of tough without these supports.
Yeah, Shoebill Nation now going to be trying to look for a pulse here if you're Shadowy, and it could do some damage, just depending upon how Celestial Knights is positioned. You take a look at the supports, right? They're playing this back way, up in the... but they could cap this, not gonna lie.
Okay, another ante out onto Aubrey, who falls in turn. Annex and Shadowy both still with the Pulse Bomb. Annex will find one. Shadowy will not. Damage done. A cap on A here for Celestial Knights.
Yeah, Celestial Knights, you are running pretty good at the moment. 4 minutes and 5 seconds. And Shoebill Nation, though, up on the other hand. You will have this ultimate economy, but same Fletch. Shoebill Nation still kind of set at the moment.
Peak Winston gameplay right there, if I'm being honest with you. Alright, well, into the dropship we go. Both Winstons have their Primal Rage, but Bananas going in on the back line with the Nano Boost. Yeah, this Brig not exactly comfortable. Aubrey squished there by Bananas, and the roll will continue here for Celestial Knights.
Yeah, definitely. Celestial Knights putting the pressure into Shoebill Nation. Love saying we'll have this bomb ultimate very, very shortly, but as well, Daydream can position this ult of Nano up on to Aubrey here. So very, very interesting choice, but they're going to be able to follow.
Nice cheeky little sleep there. Hope does end up falling, and Annex is very lucky that they did not go down in that fight, but Shoebill Nation will stonewall at 2.29 meters.
Yeah, and this is good for Shoebill Nation. Now you have a Bob ultimate, which you could definitely place up in this defensive phase, but you do got to worry about Annex, right? All it takes is a Tracer to touch that objective and force Shadowy into that scenario fight of a duel, but you're taking a look at both Tracers. They have Pulse Bomb ready to go here, so DPS ultimates are definitely going to be up online here for both the sides, but not so much up on the side for Celestial Knights for the supports.
Pat cap duty for Shadowy as the rally comes in from Aubrey. Moonlights takes a shot, but Annex finding that opening pick with the Pulse Bomb. Rally will be fading away, does fade away here quickly. Bob comes down, ante out, replacing a player for, Bob. So, not a whole lot lost there. Pulse Bomb did come out from Shadowy, helps to take down Hope. This objective continually contested. Bob didn't find any kills, but it did find pressure. Simple Math has to jump out and away, but there will be another easy touch here for Shoebill Nation, especially as Moonlight's Annex and now Bananas goes down. Shoebill Nation get under 90 seconds on the defense.
I love saying looking good at the moment with the defense strategy, playing this upper here as the Ashe player, but as well as Simple Math. Their stat line sheet has been kind of there and then against Celestial Knights, where we've been seeing these attacks from Celestial Knights, and they do get shut down there in that late phase of events. So let's see kind of what happens.
Aubrey down. Lovesane would be very lucky to get away alive here, but Moonlights can just not hit the try shot there. Nice little shot there onto the Tracer Annex. No recall, no blinks. Needs to stay alive. Gets the packs. Nano boost out from Simple Math. Has the Primal Rage ready to go. Annex very, very low. Jump gonna come in on to... Oh my god. Masterful avoidance of
the sleep dart there. Primal Rage comes down. Big Brain stunned up, pushed away. Anax though finding that pulse bomb pick onto Aubrey. This Primal Rage forced to use the bubble to get away, and it looked good early for Simple Math, but the peel was excellent, and Celestial Knights roll through B.
Yeah, and the distraction there, you know, pulling in Simple Math to engage off the supports there onto Celestial Knights, I do gotta say, they did cap that. And now they're heading right towards that third. Bananas and Moonlights will have their ultimates here to coordinate up on Shoebill Nation, but take a look at that. Shadowy up onto Anax. Tracer's no up in the game.
Yeah, no Tracers, but Shadowy gets the moral victory there with the Pulse Bomb onto their opposition. Moonlight's trying to float away. Primal Rage from Bananas in the backline. Gonna be able to find Love Say now, jumping on to the top of the map. Now looking at this Ana. Daydream falls. Anax helps to take down Shadowy, gets the get back, and this is gonna be a very, very close touch.
Yeah,
They
and
don't even
as you know,
touch.
we say close, it's just gonna be spawn door overall. But yeah, I did like what Celestial Knights did provide into that defense of what Shoebill was trying to provide against their attack. But yeah, this was pretty good overall from Celestial Knights. They read the opposition. It looked really good though from Shoebill Nation right off the start. But Celestial Knights, they shot back and they found some answers.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything. You know, the objective B defense was a little bit rough, but that's usually the hardest part of the map to get through. So,
Exactly.
you know, it's not the worst in the world. This play, I think, changed the entire game. The Nano rally from Hope. If Simple Math is allowed to get away with that, if somebody doesn't go and help Big Brain, this game, I mean, it's a very, very, very easy finish line for Shoebill Nation on Objective B. But because, you know, they got the support on to Big Brain, they helped out, they warded off the Winston. They're still in this, and they finished the map with almost a minute on the clock, which is excellent, excellent gameplay here from Celestial Knights.
Yeah, so here we go. Celestial Knights still going to be running that Winston composition. Moonlights will be up on this Hanzo. Anax still playing the Tracer. Support backlines, though, still the same for both.
God.
But take a look at that anti. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, not really going to matter a whole lot, but looked cool. Looked very cool.
It did, it did.
All right, well, engagement in here from Simple Math. Those arrows not quite connecting. Trying to help out their Winston, the Tracer on the objective. They still know that this Shoebill Nation's core is on that, or near that bridge. Bubble in, bubble down from both Winstons. Bananas has to jump back to the supports.
Yep, so here we go. Bananas, you will be playing with your supports here up on the side. Take a look at that. That's huge. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Gorgeous two-piece nade there from Yana. And it will be Celestial Knights continuing to hold.
Yeah, and this is why they think Ana is a great hero to play, right? It's a very unique with the antis, and same as well as the sleep darts, but the antis have been hitting, so if they keep on doing this more, it's more likely that they'll be able to do what they want to do.
Well, that is a significant amount of burst damage gone for Celestial Knights. Moonlight's out of the fight. Returning here soon. Simple Math is antied, so the Winston not going to be able to engage for a moment. Sleep ready to go for Big Brain as they just try and keep their players alive here. Very close to the Nano Boost. Significantly closer to the Nano Boost than Big Brain, but Big Brain goes down. A beautiful anti-out from Daydream is going to allow the catch-up on it to that Nano Boost charge. Bananas, though, building up to this Primal Rage, and Anax gets antied. Aubrey does end up falling here, but the damage appears to have been done already, Naya. This should be a capture here for the side of Shoebill.
Yeah, and that's kind of impressive. Like, Shoebill Nation was really putting on the heels back and forth with both of the supports. Like, up in the tiny corridor where we did get to see that fight happen, it took a long time to get one of those supports out. So here we go. If you are Celestial Knights, you gotta try and put something more up into the supports here, especially when they have these ultimates.
Yeah, the loss of hope here this early is devastating. So it will afford Shoebill Nation quite a lot more space. You know, hope will come back here pretty soon. Some touching there from Anax. Forced to deny a little bit of push, and there is a nano boost. Big Brain falls, and you gotta think that Aubrey, or rather Hope, is not long for this world either. Bananas has very little in the HP department, and the rally comes through. I mean, to be honest with you, Naya, I think Celestial Knights will be really lucky to get a proper touch here late.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. Celestial Knights, all they need to do is try and touch with their Tracer, but Moonlights with that Dragon will let hit anyone, though.
Nano rally again and anteed up, but the, oh my goodness, Love Sane does end up falling in the end to that Nano rally Brig, but I mean, finding those 2 picks in quick succession for the Genji, brutal for Celestial Knights, and that will be an objective capture here. They're going to be continuing these touches, but it's all desperation right now.
Yeah, exactly. Shoebill Nation is, well, or should be the one that definitely caps this one, and they will. 4 minutes and 10 seconds time up in this time bank.
Yep. Bananas falls. So does Moonlight, so a reset as Shoebill Nation starts their push on C.
Yeah, so here we go. Celestial Knights now making a couple swaps with their lineup. Moonlight's now up on the Sojourn. Big Brain and Hope running a tad bit different here with their tempo. Kiri and Lucio, a lot more quicker, right? So do expect Celestial Knights to get up into these fights a lot more quicker.
Yeah, Daydream, the first casualty here. And unfortunately, okay. Lovesane and Aubrey survived for a lot longer than they probably should have. But Aubrey goes down and will be Celestial Knights. They know someone's there, just not where. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And they're taking that angle now.
Okay.
So here we go.
All right.
Celestial Knights still ready to go with Bananas ults, right? Same with Anax. Pulse couldn't be used. The Shoebill Nation, Daydream, can find some value with the Nano.
Not an excellent nade there as the Nanos come out. Nanos plural because Daydream. Nanos themselves. Shadowy is dead, or rather Shadowy takes down Big Brain. Both supports gone just under 3 minutes now, as they could have even probably staggered Bananas a little longer.
Yeah, so here we go. We're approaching that final phase of fights. Celestial Knights needs to get back up in this one. Primal Rage is up online. Hope can touch this. Same with the Tracer. But that contest is happening.
Big Brain needs to live. Hope needs to live. Hope does live, stays on the wall, but goes down so much longer than I would have thought. But, I mean, this is looking like a completely different team. Kitsune Rush called upon by Big Brain, and Lovesane is just denying almost all of it to the players who could use it. The deflect goes away. Aubrey and Simple Math are dead. So the Kitsune Rush does help the players on the point, and Celestial Knights will be able to keep their hold on it with 3.7 meters left to go.
Yeah, so here we go, eliminating that time clock as we're getting to see the time is ticking down here. Celestial Knights doing a great job up on their defense strat, but Anax, Moonlight approaching their ults, right? Moonlights will be popping this. This could be something that they definitely need.
Overclock. A lot of that time was denied by the bubble, but Pulse Bomb onto Aubrey. Anax coming alive a little bit. Oh my god, what a shot! What kind of, wow! Okay, yeah, sheesh. 90 seconds now for Shoebill.
Yep. So Celestial Knights really still cooking at the rhythm and tempo here. If you are the Knights, you still have Hope's ultimate, but Shoebill Nation, they can come back up into this, especially with that Nano Blade, which is online. I do expect that to be popped here in combat.
Well, here is the Blade, but the Nano not used. Bananas does not receive the benefits of that.
There it is.
Sound barrier, need to get rid of Hope, and they will. Simple Math going to be able to sit down on it. Love Sane with the nano boost applied a little bit later. Still gets the job done, and Moonlight's very, very lucky to get away alive. They're under the time bank now that Celestial Knights finished with. Pulse Bomb ready to go, but Bananas needs to go down and will. Not able to build up to the Primal Rage here in the end. Nice juggles from Simple Math. The objective capture comes through. Less time than Celestial Knights had, but first step was completing the map.
Yeah, still overall, you do take this one all the way to 3 for both of the sides. And taking a look at the replay, we got to see anti to anti there for that first entry phase. But Shoebill Nation and Celestial Knights really provided a lot of energy back and forth. And even with Celestial Knights up on what they were doing, we got to see so much more in between these fights from both of the sides. So it's still action-packed. We could be seeing neutral battles here up in this overtime. The difference can be a shift, but at the same time, I really don't think so. Shoebill Nation and Celestial Knights, like, take a look at that. Like, that is insane.
40-3, by the way.
Yeah, like, how should I say this? So 40-3, 17k damage. Is that your like average comp enjoyer player there? Like just like slaying up in like a couple other like lobbies or like whatever, but I don't know. Fletch, Shoebill Nation and Celestial Knights seeding numbers are showing. The neutral is showing. The aggression is showing. And these compositions are definitely showing. So here we go. Celestial Knights and Shoebill Nation. Let's see what they do.
Right, TP, of course, getting rid of the teleporter pretty quickly. They see the Genji, they call out the Genji. Love Sing gets away, but can Simple Math. Okay, the bubble is good. Couldn't quite jump away because of that vortex, so living there is good. Simple Math bails back, goes over to the Ramatra, as Celestial Knights will back down into the building.
So yeah, interesting play style here and placement from the Celestial Knights. They're trying to read this comp, and take a look at that. They forced the cryo.
Okay, wow. Yep, beautiful. Love saying it, going ham in the back line, cuts down 2 players. This Pharah spam, so much to overcome here for Celestial Knights. A team kill as we hit overtime.
Yep, so overtime, here we go. Shoebill Nation is pushing this one in their favor. Approaching halfway if you are Simple Math. Could almost get this, and it just really depends upon how they force this up in.
Oh, and there is the reverse nade killing Hope there. Simple Math use the Nemesis form as the push will continue here. They have Annihilation to Bananas 43%.
Yeah, Simple Math really cooking at the moment with that ultimate economy. They're charging it up extremely quick, right? That was something that we did get this on with yes, and Shoebill Nation, though, Shadowy will almost be approaching this barrage. That could be also a pretty huge ultimate, but to place the Annihilation here for a forward engage plan, stuff can be pretty precious.
Alright, well, now over to a dive look here for Celestial Knights. Kitsune Rush is down. Anti out just a little bit too early. Daydream, not sure how they did not get down to the health pack in time there. Now Annihilation will be able to come in here. You got to use the ultimate, man. Okay, will be used in the end, and they will just avoid it. Simple Math goes down and had so much in the ultimate economy. Never even got an opportunity to use it.
I was kind of surprised there. Shoebill Nation was looking really good, right? They charged up the Annihilation really quickly, but they did just get stopped from the opposing side of Celestial Knights. But take a look at the stat line. Still really cooking. We could see the neutral side favors, but like the tank matchup is definitely showing. Shoebill Nation has been answering a lot more upon the eliminations, but to talk about it, it's very intriguing, right? The way they position and the overall communication and mechanics, Shoebill Nation definitely has it in the Celestial Knights. But Celestial Knights, this is your chance to attack. Maybe you can put her onto Shoebill, as we do get to see both in-air flyers from both of the sides. Shadowy Moonlight's playing the Echo, but still, Winston up in play. You have the Anna Brig up in play, and as well, the Tracer here, Fletch. So stuff's still going to be kind of the same for both the sides, but I do still expect this to be a lot aggressive from this Celestial side, and hopefully they can move their way up with a point here.
5 seconds. Of course, Moonlight's going to throw down that teleporter, head back over to the Echo. It's actually going to be on the low ground this time. They're kind of expecting the nade, and I think, actually, I guess we're not even going to get an answer onto where that nade did end up going. Shadowy spamming from afar. Moonlight's looking for the opportunity to head in. The ante out on to Daydream and Aubrey. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yep. So, Shoebill Nation, they are now proving something and trying to. But Celestial Knights, they are really taking this aggression into their hands. The pressure is definitely putting into face, but Celestial Knights really now forwarding this cards, and the progress is definitely leaning.
All right, 30 seconds on the clock. They don't really need to touch, but they will. You don't get any extra time for completing objectives here on Escort, but Aubrey just explodes. That is excellent there from Moonlight. Healing coming out from Big Brain. This really is just kind of feeding into the ultimates here for the attack.
Yeah, and look at the way how these supports are positioning, but also take a look at Moonlight's. Like, they have been following up on every single communicative play from the side of Celestial Knights, but they're almost going to have this duplication. Will this be charged? Big Brain will have this nano. Maybe you could pop this up onto your DPS or even Bananas here.
Oh, and there's the ante again on the both supports. Very lucky that neither of them were jumped on in that moment. Now Nano Boost on to Bananas. Doesn't have the jump, but gonna get slept instantaneously. Frame one, it's done. Lovesane does end up falling here. Aubrey and Daydream trying to support each other as they see the supports kind of getting shoved into a locker at the moment. Primal Rage down, Pulse Bomb out, Death Blossom from Moonlight's on the way, but Shadowy good for the kill on the Big Brain. Simple Math gets the Nano Boost from Daydream, finally let out of the Sharingan that is Bananas. Now the Death Blossom from Moonlight's going to do so much damage into Simple Math. Shadowy still alive here though, trying to find anything that they can, but the answer is no. Celestial Knights take Watchpoint Gibraltar. It was a bloodbath, but Celestial Knights win it out here on Shoebill Nation Selection.
Yeah, and this is very, very great here from the Celestial Knights. You do get to see them take this one of which was Watchpoint Gibraltar, but yeah, this is now going to be an interesting choice for the next map pick. Shoebill Nation did choose this one. And, yeah, it's now going to be intriguing. Celestial Knights, now they're up a favor, up in the points. The replay definitely is showing. You got to see highlights from Moonlight there. And the pressure was definitely there in between the DPS line. But as well, Bananas with the forward engages as the Winston was definitely really working here for the Celestial Knights squad. And if they're able to clash more into the side of it's more likely that Celestial Knights will definitely take the series, but hey. I'm not trying to caster curse anything yet. Shoebill Nation still has an excellent chance to come back up into this. Like, as we did talk about, two of these teams have been matching tempos in between these scenario fights, and could just be another part on where we get to see Shoebill Nation answer with an equalizer.
I think a lot of this map came down to backlines and backline help.
Yeah.
Daydream and Aubrey versus Big Brain and Hope was, like, consistently, they were trading blows, right? When either team was playing well, it was because their backline was dominating, right? We saw because Big Brain lived there in the final fight on Objective B on their first attack. Celestial Knights won the fight. They won the point, and they eventually completed the map. So
Yeah.
that was like, I'll be honest with you, there were a couple of really good plays from the front line, right? The DPS, the tank, they were, doing their jobs. Nothing really particularly like oh my god, right?
Yeah.
This was really a game of fundamentals, right? Not big flashy plays. I mean, you had a couple of nice shots, some good blades. This was fundamentals. This was following up on your supports, doing what they need to, because both on us were consistently finding these anti-nades, which is an ability that wins fights outright. And their Brig was doing exactly what Brigs are supposed to do. Brig is not this big healing up in your face type of support in these compositions, right? Or really in any composition. Even with a Juno, that's not what she's meant to. She is meant to sit down, put the shield up, protect your other support. Aubrey and Daydream just did that better here on Watchpoint Gibraltar. So now as we head into map number 4, it's going to be Esperanza. I don't know if I fully expect to see full dives again. This is one of the maps where it really wouldn't surprise me. Like, there's not a whole lot left that they can go for full isolate dives like you could on Watchpoint, but it's doable on Esperanza.
Yeah, definitely doable indeed. Esperanza gives a lot of variety of compositions that any team can run here up in CGL. But hey, it's the playoffs. These teams want to read each other, and that's what we've been getting to see here basically throughout the series tonight. But Shoebill Nation, here we go. This is going to be your band progress into the side of Celestial Knights. Will they choose the favor of pressuring the support or even the DPS or the tank? If I were Shoebill Nation right now here, Fletch, maybe you force a tank scenario pick, right? Where you take something out that could be dive and force a brawl. That could happen. Or we could see a support ban here.
I would actually prefer Shoebill Nation to be on brawl. Because in most scenarios, okay, they're going to ban the Genji, so it doesn't seem like they want to go towards the dive, because if I'm being fully honest with you, the Genjis have looked great from either side, right? I think that's been the most consistent part of these dives from both teams, frankly. So doesn't seem like dive is going to be the answer. What I was going to say is I think you do run the brawl, right? You very well matched up on proper brawls, Ramatras in the face, right? Both on Lijiang Tower and for some reason when they pulled it out on Gibraltar. They've looked good on the brawl with the Ramatra. Don't mess with the Mauga.
Exactly.
Do not mess with the Mauga. He is not as good as the Ramatra right now.
Yeah.
Ramatra is just number 1. We're going to see the Brig ban coming out from Celestial Knights, and this is what I said earlier, right? When you have two teams that have these defined backlines that they like running, it is very easy to pinpoint weaknesses. And now on match point, Celestial Knights will ban the Brigitte and force Shoebill Nation to make an adaptation.
They definitely need to be bringing something out of the gates for the side of Shoebill Nation, but I definitely like this ban of Celestial Knights. This was also something that I did talk about where Juno or Brig can get banned, learning much more farther up into this series here, and yeah, it did. Brig is out. Same with the Genj. But here we go. Celestial Knights, you get to see the substitution of Moonlights. I believe Moonlights was still in, or am I... Is my eye, like, phasing through there?
What substitution? Nah, Moonlight.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Moonlight's still playing the game. Ooh, I'm really curious. I genuinely think that if Shoebill Nation wants to have a chance of staying in this game and by proxy the season, right, the tournament, the season, it's all on the line here. You have to play the Ramatra. You have to, brawl into the face, because every single time that they have been in the Ramatra mirror, they have won. They have been better on the Ramatra here tonight. So I think that if you see the opposition come out on Ramatra, I mean, sure, you can try it.
Wow.
I guess without the Brig, it's just uncomfortable running the Juno that they would want to run. Which, I get it. And this is what I was talking about with the bans, right? It's a pressure point, the
Mhm.
back line, because
Yeah.
these teams want to run a set back line, and forcing, one of those set backline characters out is going to force adaptations, and I don't think they want to run dive.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you here, though. Shoebill Nation will be running this dive type composition. Celestial Knights, though, up on the other hand, they will be bringing out some Brawl. Let's see what happens here, Fletch.
Meeting in the middle, as always, on the bot. Jump going to come in on it to Moonlights and the back line. The shot not quite going to connect, but Anax will be able to finish the job onto Simple Math, who goes down, and the rest of Shoebill Nation will try and get out. Hazard.
Yep. So, yeah, Hazard now up into the game, and Shoebill Nation now making the swap onto Aubrey, which is now playing this Juno, right? So, Juno Kiriko for the side of Shoebill Nation. Maybe this could find some great answers. You still have the TP to get out, but Celestial Knights, you're still running with this one if you're pushing that one.
All right, here we go one more time. Simple Math finding the slash, but Daydream putting a hole straight through Daydream. Shot out from Moonlight, not quite going to connect, but excellent. For some reason, there's a Juno in the back line. Does end up going down, and Shadow would be lucky to get away here. But Moonlight is feeling generous, just going to slide away as the objective capture comes through.
Yeah, still definitely moving forward here if you are Celestial Knights. I like how they're positioning this, and same with their tempo. Onto Shoebill Nation, the aggressiveness has definitely been there. You got to see the plays from the DPS, but as well the slows coming out from the tank here up on the Knights. I do like this. If they keep on providing it here up into Shoebill, it can get more up on its side.
All right, well, Anax going down is a good start. Nice job avoiding death there. Simple Math not going to be so lucky this time, but... well, I think this fight keeps going one way, but the trades continue to come through. Daydream has to use the Swift Step to get away, but the objective will be moving back toward that barrier for Shoebill.
Yep, so Shoebill will have Shadowy's ultimate of Pulse Bomb. Lovesane trying to charge up theirs as well, but same as Simple Math, you're going to be able to get to see two upcoming, but one at the moment for Shoebill Nation. Let's see what happens and what they want to coordinate here.
Recall forced out of Shadowy, but Anax cut down, not able to use and utilize the survivability that the Venture provides you. Now, we see the downpour from Simple Math could be an incredible ultimate here. They're all shoved into a small room. Bananas has the Annihilation as well. They just... okay, finally, we're going to get to tear it down here. Bananas will pop that Annihilation. Nobody goes down as a result of the downpour, but both tanks will end up falling in the end. Overclock in from Moonlight to try and keep it going. 2-for-2 trades here. The bot, oh, you should not have gotten out from behind that bot, Daydream. You cannot give that to Moonlight for free, as that is a clean 4K.
Absolutely sweeping the floor if you are Moonlight, heading up in the Shoebill Nation. Very, very well done from Moonlight. But as well, Celestial Knights pushing this bot back in their favor. They have the support ultimate ready to go from Hope, but as well, Anax can put some more pressure onto Shoebill Nation. Maybe they could force a couple ults.
Yep, excellent pick onto Big Brain. Daydream finding 2 headshots now.
Wow.
As, Celestial Knights is peeling out of there.
So that was definitely one-sided. We got to just see a Kiriko absolutely cook, but Shoebill Nation still ready to go. And they have this Kitsune Rush. They also have this Orbital Ray. I do expect 1 or 2 of those Orbital.
Well, there is the Tectonic Shock. Anax going to pop back out. There's not really an excellent target to hit with that ultimate, and Lovesane answering with their own excellent overclock as this bot moves toward the objective for Shoebill as well.
Yep, so Shoebill Nation putting this one into their hands currently. Shadowy ready to go with the Pulse Bomb, trying to coordinate Daydream back to this one. But take a look at this. They're going to have to step back and definitely regroup here up on this height.
All right. Here we go. back in to this fight as you see the adaptations trying to come through. Spit of spam out, pulse bomb out, beautiful stick.
Wow.
You see Bananas try so. Oh my god! Shadowy, they've got families, man!
Shadowy just doesn't care. I mean, Shoebill Nation really, really looking good at the moment. Now they're surpassing. Wow.
They're forced on the Torbjorn.
Celestial Knights with ults.
Well, the ultimates come down. Hope answers. Well, puts out the ultimate first. The downpour not really gonna find that much, but in the end, the lead has been stolen as they just try to waste as much time as possible.
Yeah, and talking about the time, you only have 4 minutes here, and you're also getting to see a swap happen here from Simple Math, now playing this Ramatra. Maybe you're going to try and force Bananas out of this mech as much as possible, trying to catch him up in the slows. And yeah, I do like the decision here, playing the Ramatra, but you still got to be careful. Celestial Knights has Big Brain's ultimate of Kitsune Rush, and that could forward into your team.
Turret already dealt with to give Shadowy free reign on the backline once again. Kitsune Rush down from Big Brain. Going to dissuade a hard touch onto this objective, but Shadowy continues to lay waste to the Celestial Knights. The turret is down, and Bananas is actually peeling for the turret. Bananas less than 100 HP, needs to take care of this Juno. Self-destruct is out. The Juno will be able... What? You don't get around the corner, Aubrey?
Okay.
I'm angry. I'm angry.
Celestial Knights, look at this. Yeah, they're gonna be able to take this, but you have Shoebill Nation coming back here with Lovesane's ultimate, same with Aubrey's. Stuff can change and flip heading up into his next fight. Either way, if Celestial Knights has this running for them, you still have plenty full of time in the hands, which Shoebill Nation can definitely shoot back.
Here is the orbital ray. A lot of damage coming out from those torpedoes. Need to be able to keep Simple Math alive. That shield's still on cooldown. Okay, gonna get it back. The Diva goes down. Push will begin again. Just going to be some time wasting shenanigans here from the remainder of Celestial Knights.
Yep, so Celestial Knights still, they are doing a good job at the moment. 104.80 meter progress for themselves. Not too far, right? You get to see 93.61 for Shoebill Nation. They can definitely get this one back up into their hands. They have Lovesane's ultimate against Moonlight's too, so it's probably going to be that Sojourn battle of Hitscan.
Alright. Touch again. Getting very close to the objective once again. Now we're going to see the OC in from Lovesane. Sound Barrier does not quite get to Bananas while in mech. Looking for this Diva. Okay, Bananas does go down before the mech returns. Simple Math not quite getting the support that they would have liked, as now it's a tankless fight here.
Yeah, Celestial Knights, Big Brain, ready to go with its Kitsune Rush. Same with Anax here with this Molten Core. 2 ultimates up online for the Knights. Still leading by quite a margin, but Shoebill Nation, they still have hope. Pulse Bomb is up online. Same with Daydream's Kitsune Rush. Aubrey trying to get this Orbital Ray back up online, but Shoebill Nation, we know what they can do. Can they shoot back up into this?
I mean, that railgun is charged. I mean, the Kitsune Rush is cross paths here, and Big Brain is the first casualty. Simple Math is traded, but Shadowy is in the back line, and Shadowy knows where you live. 2, or well, I guess it's 1, but one final blow, but helping out with a bunch there as this Diva just gonna try and die on the objective.
Yeah, look at this. I gotta say, this is a huge stagger, but you do need to kill the Diva, and they definitely do it. So Bananas will be definitely coming back up into this one with quite something. As well, Anax can definitely position this Molten Core against Shoebill Nation, which will need to kind of space depending upon how that gets. Oh my gosh, hold on!
And Anax just fed the Pulse Bomb there. Not going to use the recall, though. That is unfortunate, as the Orbital Ray is called in. Simple Math trying to find some value on this Doomfist. Not a pick we see often, but there is the self-destructive return to the mech, and somehow, okay, Hope doesn't go down, so Shoebill Nation very much in this fight. Annex back on the Tracer, not going to play any more games. Bananas needs to stay in mech here, does not have that get out of jail free card again. Bananas loses out on that mech. Shadowy and Simple Math going ham in the back. Shadowy returns to the bot. 11 meters separates us from a map number 5. And the Celestial Knights win.
Oh my gosh.
Will they be able to get the touch? The overtime spawns far, far too brutal. Shoebill Nation
There it is.
takes us the distance.
Were we expecting this in between both of these two teams? Shoebill Nation equalizing here, and this is definitely something that they needed to do here, Fletch. But very, very well done from a communication style from both of the sides. But so close there up in that last phase. It was very, very 50-50 until that overtime fight where Shoebill Nation, they were definitely finding those answers. But yeah, very, very great here from Shoebill Nation. And now we're heading to that map 5 scenario where Shoebill Nation can make a statement against Celestial Knights.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing very, very well. Both these teams really are. This has been a brutally close series, with the exception of that one sub-map on Lijiang Tower, right? Where Shadowy was playing on the Junkrat. We haven't seen any Junkrat since. Nobody's surprised about that. Junkrat's terrible. But it is... This is really what I thought we might get, right? We didn't quite see it in the first round. I thought it was a potential outcome here in this one. These two teams so close all season long. Not surprising to me in the slightest that we see them neck and neck here. But now we will head to our final break of the series. 5 minutes on the clock, and one of these teams is guaranteed top 3. All right, welcome back, everybody. Map 5 on the horizon. These two teams absolutely slugging. Oh my goodness, excuse me, a little bit too hyped there, but absolutely slugging it out. There's blood on the floor, blood on the walls.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's happening anymore. Of course, talking about beating each other up. Ramatra, very much on the menu here on map number 5. We're going to King's Row.
Yeah, and we have this bewaited hybrid map selection, and as you said, this will be King's Row. I bet these two teams have been practicing this map overall in scrims alongside leading up into this matchup, but this is going to be extremely exciting to see what they could provide here. Brawl is really unique up in King's Row, and even some poke as well for some defensive playstyle, but Shoebill Nation and Celestial Knights here, Fletch, they are tied, and we are in this Game 5 scenario, which we do have these bans.
All right, King's Row up. Celestial Knights get the ban. Naya, I don't have a clue here. Well, I guess I do have a clue. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Juno. Tracer.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Listen, I will be fully transparent. I've been reading chat. Anax has been catching some flack for playing Tracer in chat, so sure. Why not take away the opportunity, I suppose. But that means that Ramatra is definitely on the menu for sure. I can't imagine a universe, a multiverse, where Shoebill Nation selects to ban Ramatra. So now,
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Lucio. Yeah, okay. Called that one right as it came through.
Interesting.
Lucio, the map pick. This is what I was talking about earlier. You save this trump card for so late in the series, right? They only have played Lucio with the exception of Watchpoint Gibraltar, where you basically have to play on a brig, right?
Yeah.
They have only played Lucio. Hope has only played Lucio. So this is the perfect ban, right? Because, to be honest with you, if I was Celestial Knights, you have to go for a support here. You have to ban a support here early. You ban the Juno, get that out of here. But you ban the Tracer. You open the door for Shoebill Nation to ban one of your pivotal heroes. So now, as we head into map number 5, I mean, it was, first map selection, or first ban selection and map selection from Celestial Knights. After these bans, and with the way that they've been playing the Ramatra Mirror, I full believe that Shoebill Nation are the favorites to take this map.
Yeah, definitely. They have this great ban up in their hands and definitely is favoring them. But Celestial Knights, I think you pulled a little mistake, right? Now you're led to this map 5 scenario where you need to jump back into this. And yeah, now it's King's Row. A lot of teams have played this map, Fletch, and I know these two for sure are hyped about this one. Because very, very shortly, we're going to be able to get to see these compositions. And something very, very unique about these compositions are the players. Daydream, Aubrey, Big Brain, and Hope have been cooking alongside the whole entire series alone. They have been doing such a great job, and this is something to highlight. Daydream and Aubrey up on this Juno Brig backline scenario. You're going to have speed, but you're also going to have some packs, and that's whip shot, right? So this would be great to back up the Celestial Knights, but you're taking a look at Celestial Knights. They only have Big Brain and Hope playing this Juno Kiriko with Ramatra, Widowmaker for an entry pick, but Anax up onto the Genji here, so pretty interesting. Shadowy, though, going to be trying to look for some walls, simple math as well. Going to be trying to look for some slows. This is going to be peak.
All right. Shoebill Nation, Celestial Knights, map number 5. Winner moves on. Loser goes home. To King's Row we go. Moonlight heads over to the Sojourn after taking a pot shot. Shadowy on the May has to use the ice block far more early than I'm sure that they would have liked. Simple Map trying to find their opposition, find their mirror image, and Bananas is just being chunked down by this brawl of Simple Math. And now high ground control belongs to Shoebill Nation, and number control belongs to Shoebill Nation. Annex, the first casualty here in this fight. Bananas goes in, trades out onto Lovesane, but now this Ramatra is alone. Okay, finally joined by their teammates, playing a little bit of Ring Around the Rosie with that shield, but Bananas cannot defend anymore from the shots from any direction, let alone the front, as it will be a fight win definitively here for Shoebill Nation.
Yep, Shoebill Nation shutting down Celestial Knights there for their entry phase of their attack. They were looking kind of good, but at the moment, Shoebill Nation did find the answers. And take a look at that ultimate economy. We've gotten to see this before. Simple Math and Shadowy, they're building up the numbers for Shoebill Nation.
Not quite able to find the value there on that wall that Shadowy would have liked, but is building so close to this Blizzard. NX trying to find the shots on it to Simple Math, who's almost built up to this Annihilation as well. Trying to build up to it, will get that ultimate off. Banana's very close to one of his own, and oh man, if Simple Math doesn't use the block there, you probably take care of Annex. Blizzard down. Slide out, but it cuts off Anox, it cuts off Banana. Shadow does get traded down, and now the Annihilation being good to keep Bananas up and alive for a lot longer than probably should have been. But this Annihilation will fade away without finding a kill. Big Brain has the Orbital Ray ready to call in, but so does Daydream. We're going to see the twin Orbital Rays, and Moonlights goes down. Daydream is answered. Bananas finding another 2 for 2 as this fight continues. Lovesane going to help deal some damage. Simple Math incredibly low. Now the attention of Bananas switches to this Sojourn, does get rid of said Sojourn. Ice Block in from Shadowy, but during all that time that Shadowy's healing up, so too is Bananas, and that will be an objective A capture here for Celestial Knights.
So here we go. The wheels will definitely be rolling here for Celestial Knights as they do take this capture with 3 minutes and 35 seconds in their hands. Ultimate economy looking pretty good at the moment too for the Celestial Knights squad. Both DPS ultimates going to be up online here. Bananas, though, going to be trying to build up this denial. Let's see what Knights do to aggress this even much more further here.
All right, well, there is the Blizzard out from Anax. Anax does end up falling, but so too will Simple Math. They try to keep Lovesane up. Not quite finding the slide just yet. Bananas actually is the trade. Somehow they cannot kill Lovesane, but Bananas goes down. So this is not going to be an easy fight for either team. Neither team has a Ramatra. So it will just be Celestial Knights trying to find as much neutral push as possible.
Yeah, so here we go. Celestial Knights, you are regrouping here. You're doing a pretty great job at the moment still. 2 minutes and 45. And you also have these two ultimates up in your economy, which you can definitely aggress with. I do expect that Annihil to be popped here with possibly that Juno speed ring from the side of Celestial.
Overclock in from Moonlights. Trying to find some shots, but
down.
The torpedoes come in across the map. Dealing enough damage. Now Blizzard in, and yeah, this is going to be really, really brutal for Bananas, but Bananas lives? Bananas lives? And the Annihilation out from the man who lived kills everybody.
How much times do we get to see that? I mean, Bananas just shot right back up into there, and that was very, very well done and well played. The communication was definitely there from Bananas, and definitely wanted to move this fight into their favor, as we did just take a look at. But minute 50 here still for Celestial Knights. Big Brain with this Orbital Ray against Daydreams 2. We could be seeing those Orbital Rays get popped probably at the same time.
Well, there are the Orbital Rays. Aubrey also popping the rally. Big Brain trying to take care of this Sojourn in the back line, but that Sojourn is Lovesane and will not let that go down without a fight. Torpedoes out, but Big Brain, a little bit of a stressful scenario.
Yeah, definitely stressful, you know, getting killed there up in that little corridor and getting very much shut down from Shoebill Nation. Now, if you are Shoebill Nation, you have a minute and 5 seconds to hold against Celestial Knights, which, take a look at this ultimate economy here, Fletch. You only have Anax, you have Hope trying to build up, as well as Bananas, but the only real ultimate that Celestial Knights has coming back is that Blizzard. So if they do place this well, they can capture this against Shoebill, which has ultimate, which can definitely shut down that.
Nice job forcing out the ice block from Shadowy. Now Blizzard down.
Oh, shoot.
Love Sane pops the overclock in the Blizzard. Not great. Annihilation? Okay, I mean, they do take down Big Brain, which I guess is good. But you have nobody else. There's nobody else to help you follow up on that ultimate. Now, the objective capture will come through for Celestial Knights as Shoebill Nation have another minute 45 to defend.
Yeah, it just keeps on going up in the King's Row. Celestial Knights, Bananas, and Moonlights will have their ultimates. Same with Hope here, though. So 3 up online here for the Knights. Shoebill Nation, though, up on the other hand. They will only have this Blizzard to play in position with. How will they coordinate it? We will see very, very soon, because Celestial Knights up on the side is getting a tad bit low.
Anax cannot be allowed to die here. The Blizzard is called in. The nice wall there from Anax to keep the team alive. Nice cleanse from Hope as the Kitsune Rush is called in, as well as the Annihilation. And yeah, just not a chance in hell. Annihilation plus Kitsune Rush. Kind of a tough combo. Oh! Impact damage?
Yeah, just able to get Love Sane there with the capture. I definitely wasn't expecting that one, but Celestial Knights still looking really good here up in this late phase here. 45 seconds left here, Fletch. They have ultimates to do it.
All right, overclock from Moonlights. Gonna be difficult to answer. There's not really one ready to go just yet. Blizzard called upon by Anax. Moonlights. Oh, wow. Good peel for Simple Math. Lived a little bit longer than they probably should have, but will go down in the end. You need to find some shots here from Shadowy, but it's actually Anax that comes in with the elimination on to the Pharah. And I can't quite see who's on the objective. It is going to be Simple Math on the Doomfist, but will go down 9.1 seconds. All that remains.
Wow.
But that's time.
Yeah, that is time. And it's actually a really good thing that they did cap with time, because heading up into that overtime scenario, you don't want to be 0 against what could be a minute or 2 minutes, right? Because it's more likely that that enemy team will run you over there up in that scenario. But that's very, very good from the side of Celestial Knights. They really pushed their way into Shoebill Nation, and they read that opposition pretty smoothly. I definitely enjoyed what Bananas did, but as well as the coordinations with the ultimates, with their economies. It's pretty good, Fletch.
Yeah, I mean, this was a little bit different than what we saw on something like Watchpoint Gibraltar, right? Everybody's pulling their weight right now. For both teams, really, it was an incredibly close fight. As the series has been. This map, I mean, this has got the most writing on it, right? And you see Celestial Knights takes a lead in just about every category. Bananas is kind of nuts. 12,000 damage, almost doubling anybody else in the lobby, with the exception of Simple Math. These Ramatras pulling a lot of weight right now. But gonna need something big out from Shoebill Nation as we head into our what could be the final attack for Shoebill Nation this season. Shots ready to go.
It's only a 1K difference, you know?
All right. Here we go. Simple Math. Trying to play around the corner. Puts up the shield. Gonna find some damage. Nice job from Shadowy to find the flank. But see, under a little bit of pressure by both Anax and Moonlights, really. Now Shadowy forcing the slide out from Moonlights. Got down to about 10 HP, but able to live. Nice little disruptor shot there, and the Bananas finds another couple of picks.
Yeah, so Bananas here getting these picks here for Celestial Knights, and now they are doing a pretty good job, I'd probably say, against Shoebill Nation, which they're trying to coordinate something with their attack. Shadowy, though, playing this Pharah into the Sojourn, is it smart? Because all it takes is Moonlight.
You were saying?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to see that.
So no attack gonna be in effect here. I agree. I think Shadowy should probably move away from the Pharah if it does not work here in this fight. I think Moonlights has kind of phoned it in.
Yeah, I agree.
Gonna be
yeah.
Rotation around the back high ground there for the side of Shoebill Nation. Do not have a Lucio to speed them over the gap. Oh, that's not good. That's really not good. They do actually manage to get over the gap with the Juno Hyper Ring, but they've kind of left Shadowy to fend for himself.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting here from the side of Shoebill Nation. You have this Barrage, you also have this Annihilation coming up. Daydream can do something with that Orbital Rage, but take a look at that. The pressure into the room, forcing the Pharah out. Now you're up in a different space.
You had to think that this was online, guys. You knew Shadowy was just kind of free-firing on people, and you just turned your back on him. That was a blunder, and that will put Shoebill Nation in control of Objective A.
Yeah, so Shoebill Nation now going to be running with this one. 2 ultimates up online, 3rd almost coming up online with Love Sanes. That could be something that we can definitely shift into the series here moving on forward, because you can have those corners to play around with, right? But Moonlights, all they need to do is play around that little space.
Well, Simple Math going to throw in that Nemesis form has the Annihilation ready to go. Probably won't even need to pop it here. It's going to be an excellent fight for Shoebill Nation. Trading that ult is always excellent.
Yeah, always excellent indeed. And Celestial Knight still looking pretty good with that ultimate economy. On forward though, Shoebill Nation still moving this one with 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Fletch, if I were to say anything about this Shoebill Nation squad, they are going to do something to Celestial Knights, especially up on how they've been playing. It's been so on tack.
All right, couple of ultimates in here. Big Brain with that orbital array, going to call it in, but Lovesane finds the one before it even can come into effect. 2 on the overclock. Now gonna try and find this Kiri. Good job there from Simple Math to get rid of the 1. And Shadowy kind of pulled down to the ground, really annoying. Simple Math going to invest the Annihilation, knows where this Juno's at. Just gonna try and find him.
Yep.
Do they know?
Nation. Yeah, they do.
The answer is they don't, actually. Shadowy goes down to the torpedoes. And Simple Math is still alive here, able to get rid of Anax and Hope and probably Big Brain. Big Brain goes down, not quite to Simple Math, but yeah, gonna be 3 minutes, 30 seconds here.
Yeah, and all I gotta say is the map is looking simple at the moment for Shoebill Nation. If they push this one much more further into this back line of Celestial Knights, you could see Shoebill Nation cap with a lot more time into Celestial.
And they forced Anax to use that ice block so early. Again, the overclock will afford them some time to get that back, but are they going to be ready for this? The answer, Naya, is no. That combo is absolutely disgustingly broken. The pull and the I mean, we see Lovesane find another Anax forced to use ice block. Bananas on the objective. Simple Math has the Annihilation, but will not even need to use it.
Annihilation still up online here for Shoebill Nation, and just look at that time bank. So much time still playing for themselves, and your Celestial Knights, you definitely need to get back up onto this. Your only hope here is that Juno Speedering to shut down and contest.
Well,
oh my gosh, they're not even going to touch.
Nemesis form. Yeah, I mean, that's a result of the aggression with Simple Math, you know, it was a little bit aggression and a little bit gambling, right? Because you have a 50-50 chance at guessing which side the team is going to come out on, right?
Yeah.
It just happened that Simple Math managed to land on heads, right? Where they picked the left door, and Simple Math was there with the Ravenous Vortex and the body block to deny the touch. And now, I mean, they finished the map. I didn't quite get to see what amount of time they finished with, but it was more than Celestial Knights.
Yeah, definitely up in the 2-minute range. I'd probably say moving on forward. Now it's overtime. These two teams have made it here in map 5. As you do know, overtime, both teams can choose from selection of perks and make some switches that can be pretty unique. So maybe we could see something different, or we could see the same thing ran here in between both of the teams, but the perks are going to be online 24/7 here in Kings Row for this overtime finalizer. Fletch, I mean, are you ready for this? I mean, we got Shoebill Nation, Celestial Knights. This stuff is going to be Havoc mode, but the time bank is a huge play for the side of Shoebill.
Yep, only have to defend for a minute. Here we go. Annex now on the Pharah themselves. See the Brig, but cannot deal with the Brig. And Moonlights is the first casualty. Shadowy from the skies. Okay, both Pharahs have taken out either Sojourn here. Now it's a matter of spamming down Simple Math, and yeah, that is exactly what you want to see out of your Pharah.
Oh my gosh, wait. Am I seeing Top Dragon up in my lobby? Celestial Knights, really cooking, really doing things. But, yeah, this is good. I do like what Knights are doing, but take a look at this. They're positioning up on top here. Is this smart? You do get to see NX with the barrage, but can you pop this pretty early?
You have to. If you've got that advantage, you've got to take it, because based on what we saw on the first round, Shoebill can push this map quick. Gotta get every advantage you can take here on your own. Attack Annex. Getting pressure down by Shadowy. Excellent job there by Shadowy. As we head in here, the pressure onto the Kiriko. Shadowy kind of stuck in a corner, gets the cleanse. Gonna grab the health pack, sit in the hotel with Aubrey, and yeah, this is the second time that we've seen a team in overtime not even get an opportunity to pop the ult advantage that they had, and this time it's Celestial Knights, and it'll be a hold at the choke. So very, very doable with 3 minutes 14 seconds on the clock for Shoebill.
Yeah, definitely. Their attack phase is going to be probably really quick, swinging probably onto Celestial Knights, but it's going to take so much from the Knight squad to kind of get this one for themselves. You see the time bank. It's 3 minutes 14. That's so much time to capitalize on a team that kind of pulled a mistake there. And leading into this one, if you're Celestial Knights, you need to hold this one. The series is on the line. And Shoebill Nation, you are set really good, but we're going to take a look at it again. Perks are going to be up online here for both of the sides. Maybe we'd see some swaps with some heroes. Maybe a different composition from this side of Celestial Knights. But still looking very, very decent and good from both, I'd probably here still say.
I would struggle to expect a whole lot to change here. I think both of these teams have proven that they're comfortable in the heroes that they're playing. I can guarantee you that, I mean, I don't know if I like the Malga as much, but, I mean, it's big damage quick, rather than the sustained poke and, you know, upfront brawl that Ramatra provides, even if it is a lot of damage. Oh, that's bad. That's not just unlucky, that is horrific for the Celestial Knights. Shadowy getting out of the fight with the Ramatra, who gets stomped down in the choke. Spamming in from Simple Math. That is already 2 ticks locked in from Shoebill Nation. Will they get another opportunity? and the stomp comes through. It denies the touch, but they got off the point. I don't think it'll matter here, as Bananas does go down. There's going to be some spam damage in, but somehow Anax can just not find one, and Naya!
I think it's over.
Do
I
they
think it's
touch?
I don't think they can. Honestly, it's going to take so much from Big Brain to try and get back up into this one. It's such a far distance, yeah.
There's not a chance, and that will do it. 2 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock, only needed 59 seconds. Does Shoebill Nation, and they send the Celestial Knights packing. They're going home. Top 3 for Shoebill Nation.
What a series to finalize the night here, Fletch. We got to see, I believe it was 3 1s, there and then throughout the week, but we have this series that went all the way. We also had the series which was going on, which Cuddle Puddle and Death Blossom. I'll know about that scoreline whenever I check it, but there was so much 3-2. Oh, nice, yeah, wonderful.
I think it was a 3-2 for Death Blossom.
Oh, nice. So they shot their way back. That's excellent. Celestial Knights and Shoebill, though. Fletch, what a series to have for us to cast. But the aggression was non-stop. Like, we had fights after fights after fights. It was very, very well done. And, just overall, these players have been proving a point here. And even taking a loss here, you finish out up on a great series if you are the Celestial Knights.
Yep, great fight from the Celestial Knights. They just got out brawled, right? On Watchpoint Gibraltar, they played well. They had the better backline on Watchpoint Gibraltar, but every time Shoebill was on a brawl, they had times where they looked weak, right? I'm thinking about there on King's Row at times. They did kind of get outclassed the second they switch over to the Malga. They play a lot better. But Celestial Knights, it was just a brawl difference here tonight. They could not match up with the players on Shoebill Nation on a hard-nosed, fist in the dirt, get it going type brawl. And I mean, that's just kind of what's meta right now, right? It's the strongest composition that we have, in most of Overwatch. So it's just, it was an unfortunate thing. They fought as hard as they could. They got the better, on a couple of occasions, but just was not enough tonight. And that will be the end of their season, unfortunately, here for Celestial Knights. Shoebill Nation move on. They are top 3 in the CGL Season 15 NA Masters tier.
Yep, Shoebill Nation definitely deserving this one, and we also have the series hero bands up on the other side, which we could also take a look at here. And just overlooking these, Shoebill Nation really played this very, very smart. You forced the Lucio ban in the last map, which Hope was kind of, should I say, hopeless? I mean, there was very good stuff there heading into the overtime, but whenever it came to that overtime phase, it was more in the favor of Shoebill Nation just because of the composition that they were running, but as well the mechanics and physicality that they were also providing into the Celestial Knights. But overall, still very, very great series here from Celestial Knights, as do get to see those bands. But yes, we're here back up on the desk here, Fletch, and we just had a excellent series for our viewers of CGL, but us casters to definitely overlook.
All right, but for now, we're going to cut it to a short break, just a few minutes. When we come back, we will have our rep from Shoebill Nation to talk to us, see how they're feeling moving into the lower finals. All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got Shadowy from Shoebill Nation here. Y'all are moving into the top 3. Y'all get the revenge on Celestial Knights for sending y'all to the lower bracket. How are y'all feeling after that match?
It was a really hard match, but we definitely learned from everything that happened in the first match to lower bracket.
Yeah, overall, I mean, Shadowy, you performed at your highest here tonight for Shoebill Nation. The one question, or a couple questions I actually have to ask is, I know you did play Celestial Knights in that first round here of playoffs in this division. Were you expecting this to be that close here in the losers bracket, or did you guys try and set that pace and say, hey, we're going to get some revenge up on this team and we're going to definitely bring this back?
I think we definitely were in like the revenge mindset to begin. Like on Lijiang, we really thought like we were really trying our best, and then I think we might have got a little too overconfident on the next maps. But then we brought it back and realized where the situation, and we locked in.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about y'all's bans, because I think pound for pound, y'all just had the better bans throughout this series. Were y'all noticing tendencies from the side of Celestial Knights that gave y'all intel that y'all could use against them in that ban phase? And also, after you answer that one, my follow-up question will be, what did you think when they allowed you to ban late in that game, when they allowed y'all to ban a support rather than protecting their supports?
Yeah, so our bans, on Lijiang, we really did not expect the Mei ban, and we have been playing that pretty consistently, so it was a bit of a shock. But then we were banning based off our comps, and the last 2 maps we started banning off of what we noticed. Like we noticed that Lilac came in for the Genji, and we could win if they were playing the Tracer Soj. And then on the last map, we just didn't want Lilac in again, and we noticed they were playing the low sustain just in comp on the Ram Kiri Lucio, and we decided to ban the Kiri, or I think we banned Lucio, I'm not sure, and then it worked out.
Yeah, that's really excellent from you guys. Now, the last question that I do have for you here, Shadowy, and even the Shoebill Nation community, do you plan to do something special for the community alongside maybe where you guys head up into the phase of possibly making that grand final scheme of things?
I'm not sure. We haven't really talked about it, but I will reconvene with my team and we'll figure it out.
That's excellent stuff.
All right, yeah, and an excellent win indeed, Shadowy. Before we send you out here, is there anybody that you would like to shout up, or anything that you'd like to bring up that maybe we did not?
I'd like to shout out our coach, Greetings, who came in somewhat recently and has really helped us improve. And also the fact that my hit scan was eating food the whole last map, and so was my tank. So they're both fat, unfortunately. But all is fine.
I mean, hey, you got the win in the end. Can't be too mad about it. But Shadowy, Shadowy, thank you for coming to talk to us here tonight, and we wish y'all the best of luck in the lower finals.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, Naya, a very, very long game that started 2 hours and 15 minutes ago. It's now midnight on the East Coast, just past.
True.
So, very long day, just in general. A grand finals earlier this afternoon. Then a 3-1, YE Snowfall over Amplify. 3-2 Cuddle Puddle. Death Blossom gets that one. And then our final match of the night here, Shoebill Nation Celestial Knights. Shoebill wins that in 3-2 fashion. I mean, this is what you expect, right? When you get down into the final, stages of these tournaments, you expect the matches to get closer. You expect them to be a little bit messier. And we're getting exactly what we want, right? This has been about as good of a finish as you could have asked for.
Yeah, definitely. And we actually have a great thing coming up, which will be the Copa America here up in CGL, broadcast in 3 languages here, Fletch, with 4 national teams from the South American region. That should be absolutely hype. Definitely tune up into that if you are part of the community or even a Twitch member that likes watching the streams there and then occasionally. But yeah, Fletch, Copa America, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I bet you are too.
Yeah, it sucks that I won't be here for it, but I'm sure it will be an excellent time. English, Portuguese, and Spanish. Lot to look forward to as we bring this season to a close. But damn it, Naya, it is
It's late.
so late. It is very, very late. So we are going to bid adieu for tonight. Keep an eye out on the notifications on the Twitch, in the Discord. Not a whole lot more Overwatch to be played this season, but quality over quantity as we get ready to wrap up the season. Thank you all for watching. We will see y'all later.
Inside here, you get an insight and you know something, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.